No, I'm not putting any more light on the subject this time. We're going real dark. The subject matter is dark. But we don't have to talk. We don't have to talk anymore if you don't want to. You're not going to like what we're going to talk about anyway. We're going to talk about America's darkest secret. We're going to talk about the absolute cowardice of Americans. It's said America produces nothing. We don't offer a product or a service. We do offer entertainment, which is straight from the devil. We had some humor, but a bunch of other stuff going on in the background. And so we've been exporting poor morals, and we're about to send even worse around the world. You see, in order to unite this world, they have to adopt a new morality, a new religious standard, a new behavioral law, so they can keep us all disorganized and keep us all buffooned. But I thought about this, and I really don't like my insight. I hate this fact. And the fact is that my home state, original state, one of the 13 colonies, is the head of the child trafficking business for the world. That would be the state of New Hampshire, the most corrupt state on the earth, where those people think they're better than everybody else. They have no idea what's going on and what they allow. I don't think they do. I know women like to take advantage and have the upper hand and manipulate and get their way. That's one thing. But what we're talking about is something that's much, much worse. And the state of New Hampshire is so corrupt that Ghislaine Maxwell, that's her stronghold. That's her safe space. She turned to New Hampshire. They bought the whole frickin' state, top to bottom. It's corrupt as hell. So what do we produce? America produces, according to Ted Gunderson, 800,000 children a year. That's right. Almost 1 million American children a year go on the market. Where do they go? A lot of people all they're concerned about are their appetites, filling their bellies. 800,000 people a year disappear. Poof. Almost 1 million of your children every year disappear. That's one hell of an organized crime outfit to be able to hide that stuff, to do it right here in the land of the free, home of the brave, and get away with 1 million people every year. Gone. That's what America produces. Now, we know that the most stable thing on the planet isn't gold or silver, it certainly isn't the dollar. The most stable currency is heroin. Lyndon LaRue showed us that, and as I was trying to tell you in an earlier video, 1 out of every $3 that trades hands every day across the whole planet, not just America, is in the dope business. But yet we have a business that pays better than that. So really, Lyndon only got part of it right. The bigger business isn't humans, children. I can't make any claims, any statements. I have not thought about this. I have not sorted it out. But I can tell you this, 800,000 children a year back when Ted Gunderson was alive. And now that we've blossomed up more and we brought all these foreigners in, and in case you're wondering what's happening to the foreigners, these invaders, a lot of them are being sold around the world. That's right. This administration loves sending them around and selling them. How do you think the Bidens got rich? What do you think they did? Don't you know they owned the island next door to Epstein's Island? Don't you know Ghislaine Maxwell was licensed to fly a helicopter? Why did she fly a helicopter? What was the purpose of that? That's not exactly a cheap hobby. Pretty expensive even when you're in the medical business. But that wasn't the only license she had. She had a license to operate a submarine. A submarine. We don't know how big the submarine was, but we do know this. Her next door neighbor, Joseph Robinette Biden, has a little submarine pen of his own. His island has got a hidden submarine base in it. And he bought that for the United States government. Isn't it nice that we gave him his own submarine pen? When I was a little boy, I wanted my own submarine. Yeah, I did. It's one of the things I went through, but it's not something I remember very often. Man, I was fascinated with submarines. You know, I really was. But I never went inside one. I almost had a nephew, step-nephew, I guess I call him. His mother married my brother, and then I don't know what she went back to doing. I guess she went back to the bar. Dare I say to the streets? I really don't know. I don't want to know either. I thought she was a pretty nice lady. She had 2 children. The little girl, the daughter, was a real princess. Boy, could she complain. But her son was just almost duck hunting age. Wow. Jeremy grew up to become a weapons officer for one of our submarines. I sent him a message on Facebook telling him, "You have no idea how proud we are of you. How proud I am of you, because we don't let just anybody on submarines. They got to be the best, and they have the highest security clearances." And there's things I'd love to ask him, but I would not ask him. Not today. Of course, he's not little Jeremy anymore. That's what my brother told me. I guess he's so big, I guess he turns sideways. And in a submarine, you bet they have to turn sideways to get through that baby. Did to go undersea like that, to be an officer in charge of the weapon systems on one of our submarines, that's a pretty hot shot. I think he's retired. I need you to understand, America does produce the richest product on the earth. That's right. America really does produce something. We produce children. And I guess our children are the most succulent on the planet, the most savored. What? You think they're not eating those children? You think they're not treating them as their sex slaves? What do you think J. Edgar Hoover got paid in every year? The word was they paid him every year, or paid homage to him by giving him a child. You look that stuff up. I don't want to get into that. It's just too ugly for me. The Bible says clearly, do not major in evil. Do not study evil. Why? Why? Well, I certainly don't want to go down those paths, and I think that's the danger. You study that shit, you go down that, you become that. I'm sorry. I know my language has been doing real good till just now. There ought to be a law. We need to take this government apart. Completely apart. It is the enemy of the world. They are going to kill us. They are killing us. Our lifespans are roughly half what they should be, and it's being done to us on purpose. All of these cancers that we have are engineered into us. The diabetes is engineered into us. The bipolar disorders, the autistic spectral disorders, the schizophrenias. You need to understand, they're causing it all. They have advanced technology. And that technology, they can give you whatever ailment they want to give you. They can also take it away. They can cure it. We've got those abilities already. We've had those for decades. You don't hear of any of the elderly dying from cancer or diabetes. Well, the rich, I should say, the rich. You don't hear the rich dying from any of that stuff. No, they keep the good technology to themselves. They live in an entirely different world. In this medical profession, do you want to know why they're so highly paid? They're paid 2.5 times more than the next highest paid profession, and that would be attorneys. Why are the medical doctors paid off? To keep their frickin' mouths shut, so that you and I don't have a chance to realize what they're really doing to us. Why weren't we allowed to know about that one treatment? Because it actually treated cancer, and they couldn't have that cheap-ass stuff out there treating cancer because it's a big frickin' market, and they don't want to give up the gravy train. They are liars, murderers, and thieves. But that's what you and I have become too. We sit by and let this shit go on. They took our government over. You don't have any representation down in there at all. You don't have any representation in your state governments. It's all corrupt from one end to the other end. My God, getting nuked would be mercy right now. And what they're doing, what they're setting us up for. I mean, that guy Bernard. I watched that guy twice now. I think his language is probably Dutch. It's that or German. And I watched him. And I could see that he had done some pretty bad stuff, all right. Okay. But he stopped. And he came forward. And he was shook up. Because he couldn't do what they wanted him to do. And he was told he would have untold wealth and riches, because the God of this world, Satan, owns it all. And I know you think you're a Christian. I don't like the word Christian, by the way. The name was a racial slur in my book. And if you don't understand, they were called Christians in an area that thought they were impoverished, and it was like calling them the N-word. I don't know why I said I don't say it, and I should just say it and get it out there. They called them niggers. I don't like using that word lightly because I know it offends a lot of people. But I think the word Nazi offends a lot of people too, and it begins with an N. And that son of a bitch in Texas that accused me of racism so he could steal from me my inheritance. He says I called him a nigger. I never did. He says I yelled at him on the phone. I never did. Why would I yell at a guy who's got all my wealth in his hands? I wouldn't. That'd be foolishness. Oh, and then he points to Nigger Obama mentioned on my blog. So I'm going to explain that to you right now. A friend of mine was very upset with Barack Obama. Didn't like his Marxism, so she nicknamed him Nigger Obama. And I got tired of her saying that shit. I mean, it really, come on, man. We don't say stuff like that. So I decided I was going to teach her a lesson. I guess I'm the one who's getting the lesson, right? It's okay. As I've said, lose but don't lose the lesson. This black guy in Houston, I guess I should have called him a numismatic expert because that began with the letter N, right? That's what I regarded him as. I didn't even know he was a black dude. That's not what was important to me. But he was a con artist. And as his attorney said in the letter, it's quite true. He's a sociopath. An intelligent one. He's an intelligent man. He got me. But he couldn't just let it go at that. He had to tell me the 2 times I spent with him, he had to rub it in my face that he had beat me, a psychologist, that he was smarter than I was. And he was. I trusted him. I trusted him because my accountant, distant relative, pushed me into his arms, into their trap. The guy's smart. I signed an agreement that I wouldn't say anything bad about him on the internet. No, I'm not saying anything bad. I'm saying he's good. He's good at his craft. He's honed his skills. I wasn't his first victim. I mean, he's in his middle 30s, maybe, young guy. He's a good-looking young black man. But he should have left me alone. But he teamed up with my relative to dog me and to rob me of about $250,000. And they got it. There's not much I can do about it. I'm telling you what's going on with that. And I am upset with the attorneys that handled that because even the attorney ripped me off. Everybody got a piece of Dr. Kent. Even my brother took advantage of me in that. Even FedEx took advantage of me in that. Even the first attorney was willing to sacrifice me and the wealth that I had, what little I had, you know. I mean, I am so fortunate I get to buy this wonderful rig. I'm so blessed to get it and find it. They don't make them like that anymore. They stopped making them so long ago that people don't value them quite as much. I wish they would build them again. They're that good. I don't think I could afford one. I know I couldn't afford one if they were to build that puppy again. Pray to God I can afford this one. You need to understand. Oh, by the way, my friend, what I did is I took her message on my blog and I copied her email message to me that used the word Nigger Obama that she had invented. And I posted it. And I sent the link to her to embarrass her so she'd stop doing it. It worked, and I left it up there. But this black fellow targeted me so well, so much, so hard, that he went and researched that and found that. And he accused me of calling him the N-word, and he used this publication on my blog to claim I was racist, which of course gave him license to steal whatever he wanted from me. And his attorney wrote this letter to my attorney. And the conclusion was, he's a racist. He called my attorney, he called my client the N-word and yelled at him and got combative on the phone when in Alaska. Bullshit. Bullshit. It was his client who was argumentative on the phone with me because I wouldn't sell him everything wholesale right out without getting down there. He was going to just go over the coins and show me what I had and make me offers. I was going to sell part of them, not all of them. It's too much weight there. But when he gave them back to me, 82 pounds of gold and silver coins were missing. Now, I'm not saying he took them. I'm not saying he took them all. Turns out FedEx had problems going on too, but it's a whole different thing. Anyway, my friend stopped using the term nigger bomber. So I had the impact on her I wanted. But what I didn't realize is that would be used in the future as a license to steal from me. Now, the other thing is this guy had an attorney. And the attorney was a total bitch. She was horrible. I mean, she's not a nice person. She tried to shake my ass down. She was demanding I pay $4,000 in attorney's fees to him to get my coins back. The two of them were shaking my ass down. I couldn't tell what was going down. I couldn't tell. I wasn't going to give him $4,000 to get my property back. I was willing to pay. I already paid the shipping. I was willing to pay the storage, and I was willing to pay his fees to go over the coins with me and show me for his expertise. I was willing to pay for the services I wanted. Oh, no. No. He wanted it all. And the figure he had in mind, mind you, my dad spent $220,000. He wanted to pay me about $20,000 for it all. Way over 300 pounds of gold and silver. Yeah, the money changers, it's a racket. You want to sue me for breach of the agreement? What about your breach of our agreement, Michael Hubbard? Please take me to court. Let's go, baby, let's go. What do you have set aside? Your reputation? No. And my accountant, he set me up and pushed me into that. The perfect crime, as my advisor tells me. And the police in Houston, how much did you pay them? How much did you pay your first attorney? And you had to get rid of her because you lied to her. And she lied to us. That she said you didn't go through any of the coins except for the box with the hole in it. Oh, hell, man. You had that big plastic tub. You mixed all the coins up across all the boxes from what I could tell. It took me months to do an inventory. Took me damn near half a year to do the frickin' inventory. And I made 3 different trips to Houston to get these things at great expense. So yeah, by all means, sue me for slander and libel. Oh, and what I did is I figured the attorney, if she knew her client was a sociopath, she might actually handle this properly and have some ethics about her and think about who she was representing and get rid of his ass. So I texted her. Since she was slamming me with text, she was a total bitch, by the way. I texted her and I says, you realize your client is a sociopath? I said something like that. Oh, and there was one more offense. I called him boy. And of course, that was racist of me. My mentor, Glade Birch, had a few sayings, and he loved to banter them about, and he got them from mentors of his as well. And it was, what's a good little boy like you always doing, getting in so much trouble? Or what's a good little girl like you doing, always getting in so much trouble? the purpose of the thing was to get a person to reflect upon themselves and think about what they were doing that got their asses in trouble. That's all it was. It wasn't a racial thing calling him boy. Michael Hubbard, you're a piece of work. You really are. You're very intelligent. You have your skills down. And your attorney, your first attorney, obviously told your second attorney, or your first attorney told you that I said you were a sociopath. And your second attorney put it in writing in the letter. So why the hell do you think I published that on my blog? So I could say it right out here. Those are the facts. Are you a sociopath? Come on, speak up. Take it to court. I really don't want anything more to do with Texas. I don't want to go back there. It's a big piece of merda to me. We ought to split Alaska up in 2 different states, and then Texas can be the 3rd biggest bunch of assholes in the country. Y'all are narcissistic as hell down there in Texas. If I was president, you would be the Lone Star State, all right? You'd be a Lone Star country. I wouldn't want you. You have perpetrated so many murders out of Houston. You have perpetrated so many frauds upon the American people from that state. And your medical, military, industrial complex, it's just part of the liars, thieves, and murderers that shorten all of our lives. Now, I will hand this to Michael Hubbard. He wasn't going to take the jab. He knew better, and he was watching. This guy was very intelligent and very shrewd. And I thank him. I thank him for winning, for beating me. I'm not losing the lesson, Michael. Yeah, I lost about $250,000. I lost 2 years of my life, and at my age, the time was more important. I still haven't got it resolved. I'm still working on it. You see, my attorney decided to rip me off too. But the neat thing about it is that his excuse was he was busy with his family. And the neat thing about it is I get to go after his family of Bar Association members. And of course, if you tuned into my show at all, Michael, then you know about the 13th Amendment. You also understand what I'm talking about probably more than anybody else out there. Because I know you study my ass. I know you follow me. You wonder what's going on. The 3rd biggest coin dealer in Houston sets me up with my distant relative accountant to rob me. They get me traveling across the country, spending thousands of dollars. I made a trip down from Alaska in 1 week, from Anchorage to Houston. Kind of fast. Can't do that anymore. Can't do it today. It's kind of exciting in a way. Then I had to make trips all over the place to take care of that, and I actually had to go to FedEx's headquarters even. Met their attorney. Nice guy. I think he should have paid a little bit better. He could have. But you know how attorneys are. They set us up and they play us. And you said you'd never hire another attorney, Michael. I think you're going to hire an attorney over this. Do it. And you knew where I was parked in my RV. Not even my attorney knew where I was parked. Only my relative did. Yeah, Michael. And on top of that, you knew that he had a house up there. Why did you know that about him? Why did you know so much about John Wardlaw? And you had to let me know. You bled it right through. You were so happy with yourself because you had beat an educated man with a doctorate. You would beat a corrections psychologist. Yeah, you beat me. The attorney abandoned me on top of it all. Never answered my questions. But I don't mind going public with it. I think it's a good idea. I've had it with you. Houston police, I think I understand why the murder rate is so frickin' high in Houston. Police are crooked as hell. And there's a lot of racism there, too. They hate white people. And you got a bunch of lowlifes that live there at this point. You absorbed all the lowlifes from next door when the government ran that hurricane into the New Orleans on purpose and blew the frickin' dikes. I'm sorry. Our government's that evil and that wicked. But Michael, 800,000 children a year go missing. How many of those are black children? I mean, how many go missing? I can't think of the word Coach Greg Adams says. The communita or whatever it is. I don't know how many go. But I'm asking you. You're a pretty smart dude. Man, if you applied your wit and stuff to something good, you could. Michael, you should be disappointed in yourself. Mr. Hubbard, you're very intelligent. You should be disappointed because you didn't develop your full potential. You really could have done better. But instead you chose this life of evil whereby you bilk, rob, and pillage people, old people. Texas has got laws against exploiting the elderly. The only problem is that if you're from out of state, they don't give a rat's ass. They only protect other Texans. I think it's the biggest, most corrupt state in the union in many ways. Oh, well, I would like to save the nation. But I'm sure all you want to do is steal from somebody else. Even the secretaries there didn't like you very much. Their attitude towards you was that you were not a good person. I'm not going to say the word nigger here. The attitude was you were not a good person. They didn't have any respect for you. I could tell when I walked in there that few times I did. I would have to say the secretaries know you better than I did. They observed you much more than I did. Nice office, nice part of town you're in. Enjoy Houston. Houston is one of the biggest targets on the map. If this place gets nuked, your ass is gone. They're going to hit Houston hard. The other thing is that the odds are that the tsunami is going to wash it all out to sea anyway. So if they don't get you in the first round, something's going to get you. It's just a marked place. It's not a safe place. So I've tried to warn the people in Houston for a long time. Get the fuck out of there. It ain't safe. The only thing is, I don't want you in the rest of the country anyway, so I just assume you stayed there, you got your asses nuked, and the tsunami came in, the mud flood, and washed up, and took you all back out and put you in the bottom of that, what's that called? The Gulf of Mexico? Yeah. Yeah, the crime in that part of the country, the horrible shit that goes on, the way people treat each other. It's pretty bad, Michael. You're pretty smart. You know it's pretty bad. You're smarter than the average. I didn't say nigger, Michael. You're smarter than the average man. average member of your species or average sociopath. You see, I just happen to have the skills to detect your ass. I just have had enough experience, so I know what the hell's going on. So yeah, I nailed your ass right. I lost, but I didn't lose the lesson. Yeah, the money will be flowing my way at some point. I know that. 82 pounds of really precious coins. You got most of my gold. Yeah. Blame my brother and my sister on it. I mean, that was the most precious part. I don't have anything to do with that creature at all. She's much lower than you are. And my brother, he's just an odd bird. That's all there is to it. He had the knife in my back when we were kids, and I didn't realize it. And I'm so grateful for the lesson in which you revealed that bullshit to me. He stole from me. He stole on my inheritance. Yeah, I'm working on it. He stole my gun. Yeah, he did. Anyway, I don't want to be appearing like a vindictive motherfucker, but I am. I'm pissed off. I'm mostly upset with myself for being such a sucker. Yeah, self-hatred is very easy to come by. It's very easy to get upset with ourselves. But, you know, I got a few things going for me. I got the best Bible in the world. I suggest you get a copy of it and start reading it. They're probably going to get your ass in prison at some point, and you might as well read that thing now, but you'll read it then for sure. I hope nobody kills you. Pretty high murder rate down there in Houston. I understand why. I wouldn't be surprised if the cops themselves were killing a lot of those people. My experience with the cops was that they were on your side. Why were they on your side? They weren't all on your side. But the son of a bitches in Houston definitely were on your side. They made every decision they could. They guided me to get me to try to relinquish on any claim I had on everything, anything. Yeah. Corruption, Michael. Hope you enjoy it down there with the other sons of a bitches. I didn't intend to reveal all this or cover this stuff. My main thing is I wanted to talk about the fact that the United States of America actually produces a product and exports it. We produce the finest children in the world. They love them in the Mideast in particular. We send abroad sex slaves. We send abroad children. We take these foreigners into our country and we triage them out, and they're jetted out around the world to different places. They are sold. And MS-13, as far as I can tell, is just another branch of the American government. Think about it. MS-13. America's lucky number is 13. 13 colonies, 13 stripes. 13 states. The 13th Amendment takes those frickin' attorneys down and opens up our society again to some freedom. You get rid of the foreign agents. That's going to help. Thanks, Michael. You put me onto the tail of Dragon Man, and I'm going to ride her ass. Yeah, I am. My name's Dr. John Taylor Kent. They said I wasn't afraid of anything, and I would do anything. I'm pretty much afraid. I am. I'm afraid of Yahweh, and I am kind of afraid to meet my Maker because I have seen some things and gone some places that the average puny human being can't handle. See, Michael, I'm a real man. Yeah, So I'm going to put your name in the title of this video because I don't want you to miss it for anything. And I'm also going to put the number 800,000 children in the title of this video because I want the rest of America to wake their asses up. If we do not do our little march of dimes, silver dimes, we're screwed. We need to go back to silver currency. Silver dimes is all it takes to bring this beast down. That's my assessment of it. Now, Michael, care to go on a ride with me? Care to ride the tail of the dragon? You go look at the rest of my videos. You'll find out I understand this shit pretty damn good. You might actually be able to take it further than I took it. Because you're much younger than I am. You should be able to take everything I put out and make it better. Yeah, Michael, I'm putting that challenge at your feet to make yourself better. To join humanity. Stop predating on others. I don't know if it's possible. But my name's Dr. Kent. I'd take that challenge on. I'd do therapy with a sociopath. Yeah. See if we could actually build an enteric nervous system on you and get you a doggone conscience. Well, my fees aren't that high anymore, Michael. I'm retired. But I ain't treating your ass. I'm never going to be in the same room with you again if I can possibly avoid it. I don't want anything to do with you. And it ain't 'cause you're frickin' black. It's because you basically stole my inheritance from me. You don't give a shit about anybody else. Just your own belly, just like the people eaters. Just like the people around the planet that like to eat the children that come out of America. America's only product. My God, business must be good. Yahweh bless. It's number 156.